Spunky, I'm getting ready to do the show. Can't you get up and watch this, man? I do what I want when I want. Exactly. That was my cat, Spunky. I don't call him my cat. I call him my buddy. He's like a dog. He really is like a dog cat. He would walk with Izzy and I when we do our walk. This cat is an amazing cat. And with that, welcome to the Michael ALPOUGH Life, Love, and Laughter Show. I'm so glad to have you with me. I'm also want to welcome everyone who will be seeing this video later. A lot of people are seeing it later, so I want to make sure that you know that I know that you're coming in. I had 39 people in views. You know, this is only my second complete week. I'm in my third week, and this is my 21st show. And I just want to really thank anybody and everyone who listens and that in any way that it can help you. So I just want to make a couple quick announcement here. One of the people, you know, I've been talking about CPTSD, and the person who there's lots of people out there that are preaching this and, you know, calling it out for what it is. But the one person I really want to bring out is a lady by the name of Crappy Childhood Fairy. If you go on YouTube, Crappy Childhood Fairy, this lady is really got it all broken down. I have learned from this person really the most of all. I've studied people, and she just really breaks it down. She's just like you or me, the way she does, and I just highly recommend her to follow up on this, because she studied it more than me, and I've been learning from her. So Crappy Childhood Fairy. I also want to give a couple of shouts out to my friend Kate Huff, who brought back high school. Great quote there, and maybe one of these days we'll have some gumbo there, Kate. I also want to give a shout out to Frank. Frank, I really appreciate what you said. It was one of the most strongest things I've ever heard that could add to it. And I really want to quote Frank. And he says in the quote, "Follow your bliss and life purpose, my friend." And this is the same as saying it to you. "I like your passion, brother. COVID has been awful for all, but the silver lining is that it has caused a kind of reset in the psyche of people, a newfound connection to what is most important in the heart and spirit. I concur to what you're saying." Frank, thank you so much. That really means a lot. It's what really defines on really what where I want to go. And I hope you all come in here and join me. So we've been talking about CPTSD, and there's so many descriptions of it. You know, you have the PTSD, you have CPTSD, and you have childhood PTSD. Okay, they all mean a little bit of the same, but not exactly. So let's just say PTSD is adult flashbacks like insomnia, withdrawing, or a burst of anger. Okay. Complex PTSD is about ongoing trauma and or living through a war or an abusive relationship for a long time. Okay. And then also like growing neglected and feeling abused and not getting any meaning out of your life. Childhood PTSD, you know, I could say I suffered from that also. And again, there's other things, but again, this is similar to all of us. Parents argued. There wasn't any money, or long money. My parents were very young and uneducated. Alcohol played a role in it. Disconnected emotionally from the children. Okay, or at least where I felt it. But, growing up now, it's like, well, they were young and uneducated, Mike. Let's give them a break. And I have. And I did, and it's over. Those are the things that I learned. That's just how I became, and it's actually made me stronger because I wasn't going to let that stop me from being me. And that's the main thing. Why? So now look, the effects of the trauma has been always known as a psychological. Okay, it's in your mind. But now there's the studies, which is really what's the bottom line of this, and proves more about what the point that I've been making this whole time, and that it's actually a neurological trauma that has injured the brain or the trauma centers in the brain. So it's actually a new program of trauma that puts this neurological path, an electrical path, into your daily life. Just putting that in a nutshell. You're walking around and you've got this looped program going on with you. Okay? And so it always makes you not steady. Okay? You see, because it's complex. And so when this happens, it makes it more complex. And so what you have to do here now is, again, the whole suggestion is to slow down and to speed up. Slow down to speed up, to speed up. Okay? And that's what we're doing right now. Okay? Now, are you someone that is an arguer? Okay? Are you someone that doesn't feel like you're heard? Okay? Again, where listening is one of the keys. You don't feel like you're listened to, right? So, because of the complexity of it, you might be talking about something in the past that you're answering in the present. Your answer or your response may be a neurological loop that's in your mind in an electrical pattern. The wiring is not right, and it's electrical. Okay? So what happens in this is confrontation is just, it's hard to handle when you have this confrontation. There's usually two responses. One is arguing back, and the other one is freeze. And you shut down. And all the words that are being spoken to you, you're not even listening. Although it's going into your subconscious. You see, because you've been through this loop where all of a sudden here's the argument and whatever it is, the confrontation of it. All right. Now, I'm keeping it real, and I'm going to tell you exactly what the facts are. Okay. The true test of any relationship comes when a disagreement happens. You can call it an argument, but disagreements are one thing, an argument is another. Okay. Now, some people, as soon as you have a disagreement, they want to argue. Some people calm down, get in neutral. That's me. It doesn't matter if if it's an animate, it's different than being angry when two people are making a point. Okay, so this is guaranteed. It's a disagreement that can lead to an argument. This is why I said disagreement and not argument. But now if you're in a new relationship, or if you're going to get in a relationship, or if you're already in a relationship and you're having the trouble communicating, especially when you get angry because he didn't take the trash out, or he didn't get angry because you didn't fix the right dinner for him. Okay. So in your courting stage, or even if you've been married 100 years, or even what you've been with your coworkers for 30 years, it doesn't matter. If this occurs to you, once you do this, the first thing is you want to say there's argument rules. There is such a thing, ladies and gentlemen, as argument rules. That's one of the things that I always had in my past, is when I get in an argument with somebody, they would bring up the past immediately. And we're talking about a certain subject, and you just go right off on the course on something that you were mad at a long time ago, either at me or in a past relationship. And it wasn't resolved. So here's the number one suggestion, okay? The number one suggestion is stick to the subject and do not bring up the past or the future. How simple is that? Okay, look, here's the rules. We're both upset. Let's stick to this subject, and we're going to stay here, because in CPTSD, it's complicated. And one person has to be able to go, we're going to just talk about this. We're not talking about what happened last week when we were at dinner. We're not going to talk about what happened when it was at your mom's. We're going to talk about what's going on here. And it's no knock on you about anything in the past or the future. And that really helps things, okay? Take the best and leave the rest here, ladies and gentlemen. Okay, that's what it's about here. Okay. What I have to offer, I have so much information and I spend so much time doing this. For me, it's still, okay, I'm not in my own way. I am not attached to that. Okay. So we continue here. All right. So at the end of the day, at the end of the argument, one of the things that you're going to always have is you're going to have to say, well, sooner or later, you have to be mature enough to agree to disagree. Now, you may have to agree to disagree and carry it on, continue on later. Maybe you can't finish the discussion, but you put it in a place of we'll agree to disagree, and then we can take it up another time, or let's let tomorrow come. Okay. And believe me, letting tomorrow come, that's one of the best things. If you get in an argument and you think, oh, I'm going to break up, give it a night's sleep. I guarantee you, give it a night's sleep, and you'll see that you have a whole nother thought process than you had the night before when you were emotional. Okay. Now, if you want to avoid disagreements, okay, if you want to avoid them now, where you nip them in the bud first, number one suggestion, avoid disagreements by not breaking. Oh, I'm sorry. I said disagreements. Oh, gosh. There we go. And there we go. Avoid disagreements by not breaking agreements. You're only as good in a relationship as your agreement. You're only as good as a worker through your agreement. You agree to come to work at 8 o'clock and stay till 4 o'clock or whatever it is. When you're married, you're in a relationship, you're with people, you're with friends. The one thing people will talk about you bad is when you break disagreement, when you break agreements. Okay, you break agreements. Oh, you're supposed to show up. We're supposed to be at the club at 9. You don't show up till 10:30 and don't call. Okay, don't call. You got a lot of guts, man. I'm getting sick of this. This is the 10th time. Okay, so here's another thing. Confrontation is inevitable. It's how we handle the confrontation. I'm going to confront the subject, not the actual character or the name calling. It avoids the name. If you avoid the name calling, the put downs, and stick to the subject, I guarantee you, you will shorten your time by 50%, because disagreements can turn into arguments if you don't discuss the agreement. The agreement is the most important thing. Also, more, you see, we're in 2021. In 1961, you didn't have this problem. 1971, you didn't have this problem. 81, you didn't have this problem. 91, you didn't have this problem until really 2000. You had this problem. And that's people have stopped communicating by person or by phone. Okay? And more people, including myself, cannot believe how some people want to argue on the text phone. And it always turns out bad. It always turns out bad. It's 100% when you start arguing on the text phone, you can't understand what person is, how they're really feeling. You don't know what their words really meant. And then you can lose your mind by going off. Okay? So, do not text out feelings that can be misunderstood. I know sooner or later somebody's going to be on here and you're going to say, I know. And there's some people that will not talk to you. Okay? They just won't talk. They only text. Now, it's different when it's all you can do is text. I understand. Would you text and say, listen, let's talk about this in person, or when I have an opportunity to speak with you. I want to listen to you. At this time, though, it's not what I can do right now. Okay? Now, for us, the ones who's, really, this is really in the CPTSD, it's so hard to realize. See, because of this neurological loop that's in your brain, you're usually one way or the other, where you're over communicative or you're under. Okay. But it puts you in a state of you're cautious of revealing your truthful feelings. And this, well, for me, was a big one because of my brought up, how I was brought up and how I saw myself. So either I'm not a race, or nobody's treating me like this, or I don't have the education, or whatever it is, the money, whatever, always, cautious. So I've been cautious of revealing my truth. Now, sometimes, which this is for me now, I don't have to reveal my truth. If somebody really wants me to reveal my truth, I'll reveal it. Without a doubt, I will reveal it. I'm not someone who's going to hold back if somebody gives me permission. Okay? Do you really want me to tell you how I feel? Because I'm going to give you everything that I know. All right? Now, again, there's times when you shouldn't reveal your feelings. When you get on the other side of this, you're less emotional, and you're not fogged. You're very straight ahead and in the moment. In the moment. You see? So when you're in the moment, it takes out the emotions. It allows you to be neutral. And it's good to be cautious, but sometimes protecting your feelings about revealing your truth can be dangerous, because what happens is you'll be sucking it up, buttercup. And, it's not healthy. This is why people stay in long-term relationships from someone who can manipulate them, because the other person can't stand up for themselves. And believe me, the dominant person is always revealed in a relationship. One is more than the other. It's rare that it's an even keel, but okay. So in our relationship, my wife and I, it's who's the best person for the job. Okay. Who's ever the best one, who's ever best at the time. They say the man's supposed to take out the trash. My wife's taking out the trash. Guess who washes the dishes and cooks? Me. All right. I like to cook. Now my wife likes to cook too. So, when you come in balance, and then you see how you change that in the neurological is by thought. You are what you think about. And everything about this CPTSD, I always say it wrong. CPTSD. You get on the other side of this. You can. It takes practice. It takes guts. Well, what else are you doing? Now it's time for us to change. Okay? Give yourself a pat on the back. And when your mind is troubled, fill it with love. Fill it with love. Fill it with love. Fill it with love. Tomorrow I'll be on at 1:11 p.m. Pacific time. I'll see you then.